Across LC with your hosts, Jeff Alsman and Cody Zitman.
How you doing there, partner?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm good. You ready to get the show on the road?
I am ready. Of course, that's Cody Zitman. I'm Jeff Alsman. We together are the A to Z Across LC podcast, and this is episode, I don't remember, 4
or 5. So they all go together. It's the second season. That's all we need to know.
That's all we need to know is that we made it through this first season, and we're into the second season, and that's all that matters.
That is all that matters.
We hope we have a great show planned for you today.
I mean, it looks like we got to go. You got 3 guests.
3 guests.
How are we going to fit this all? You know, producer O is going to be on us.
You and I are going to talk less in the beginning, and
I got you.
Let these folks have their space.
Are we? No, I guess I'm assuming Dunner is coming straight from the field, huh?
He is.
Got a game today. Okay,
yeah, John
man.
Dunn,
I hope we catch him on a win.
I told him don't come if it's not a win.
They don't lose.
I know. Men's soccer coach here at Lewis and Clark. He will be on the program a bit later. Cora Gill, who is the Foundation Scholarship Program Coordinator, will be here to talk about lots of scholarship opportunities. Lots of them I didn't even know existed here at the college for folks who might be interested in filling some of those out and getting some help with their educational journey with those scholarships. So you'll find out all kinds of information. We've got a huge special announcement on the program today. We're not going to tell you about it. We're going to tease it now and come back to it later. And we also have a segment where we will be talking to the folks from Vintage Voices. Jake Tinberg and also Carrie Miller are going to be here to talk about that program, which is also really interesting. Not a whole lot right now going on campus the next week or so, other than full schedule of athletic events.
Tons of athletic.
Volleyball team is playing.
Volleyball, soccer.
Men's and women's soccer. We've got
both
fall softball.
Fall ball.
Boy, it won't be very long. Right around the corner. What, another month? And then we've got men's and women's basketball kicking into practice.
They're in their captain's practices now, and the gym is packed, let's say.
Yeah.
So there's always something. And we have a couple fall leagues going on, right? We have a women's youth fall league going on Monday nights, and on Saturday we got a men's fall league that was packed.
So the athletic facilities are hopping places.
They're buzzing. They're buzzing.
Buzzing right now.
I messed up on that. You got 3 guests. You actually have 4. The one's a double.
Well, 3 segments.
3 segments, 4 guests. Man, you were on it.
Your math is getting better all the time.
It is, and I like that one because I'm a history guy, so I'm intrigued.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. That'll be interesting for you.
I might just sit and listen on that one.
You know, the weather's starting to get really nice. The colors are going to start changing here shortly, and the campus is going to, I think, even get more beautiful than it is during the summer months when it's always pretty, but
I agree.
Fall's my favorite time of year. What about you?
It is mine as well. Fall and the holidays, and it's a good time to year to buy an athletic banner. Contact me over there. We sold another one today, so if you're out there and you're a sponsor or want to be a sponsor of the athletic club, see me, Cody Zitman.
How many banners are you up to now?
Ooh, 30 maybe.
I was going to say
it's almost all the way around Riverbend.
Yeah,
and there's multiple on softball, soccer, and tennis.
And if you haven't been to one of our athletic events, you should come. There's just a real excitement and a real encouraging, enthusiastic vibe around all of the athletic programs. It has nothing to do with you as the athletic director.
It probably has to do with free parking and free
free entry.
Yes,
yes.
Free.
But we've got some teams that are doing pretty well, too. We'll be talking to one of them, especially here in this program, and we'll be bringing in the different athletic coaches in following our upcoming segments as well to get an idea of how their seasons are going. But so far, most everybody off to a really good start.
They are off to a good start, and I think we should be off to a good start. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go, Alsy. We are
LC A to Z.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but dental hygiene could have been my thing. Or my path could have been conservation.
And welcome back to our A to Z Across LC podcast. Jeff Alsman here, Cody Zipman as well. Hey, just want to remind you that if there are any events on the calendar that you'd like to find out about here at Lewis and Clark, you can always go to events.lc.edu. That'll take you to our public events calendar, and you can search that and find different events at different locations here on campus. And Cody, we also should let folks know that if they have any comments or questions or would like to be on the show, they can email us at A to Z podcast at lc.edu. Tell us what you'd like to talk about, and we will get back to you and try to get you on one of our upcoming programs. But right now, we want to turn our attention to something that's very important to all college students, and those are scholarships. And we have with us Cora Gill, who is the scholarship program coordinator here at Lewis and Clark. Cora, welcome to the A to Z Across LC podcast.
Thank you.
You are like holding the sheet that contains all of the most important information about folks who are interested, or about how folks can get some help with schooling, the finances and things like that, if they are so inclined. So tell us a little bit about how that all happens first, and then we'll kind of get into some of them, and you can tell us about the ones that are out there that maybe people don't even know about.
Yeah. So we have a pretty extensive list of scholarships. There's about 175 right now, but the list is constantly growing. And they're all listed on our website, so you can check them out there. But if you're interested in applying, it's super simple. We have one application. It's on our website, and you put in your Lewis and Clark email and password, and it takes you to an application that takes maybe like 10 minutes to fill out. You answer some questions about yourself, some questions about, your academic plans, your career plans, and then you write 3 short essay questions. And when I say essay, I mean like a little tiny paragraph. And then you just hit submit. And so it goes to our review committee in the spring, and then we send out emails. And those are the funnest ones to send out because we're giving people free money for school. So yeah, it's really simple. And then I'm always there to help. So if students have questions, I'm the first point of contact for them to be able to, get help filling out the application. If they have questions about, what they need to talk about in their essays or things like that, they can always reach out to me. We're always here to help. So that's kind of the process. It's super short, super simple, which makes it really accessible to our students.
So is the process that they fill out just a generic form, and then your committee takes that, looks at those, and tries to maybe match it up with what the best scholarships available towards that career path are? Or do you apply for particular scholarships right from the beginning with that first application?
So we actually are using this software. It's called AwardSpring. And what it does is it uses, we have qualifications that we put in for each scholarship, and they match to questions on the application. So when you answer questions on that one application, it sorts through and it says, oh, you answered yes to this question, so you might qualify for this scholarship. And it automatically puts your name on that list as qualifying. So it does that for all of our scholarships. So your one application probably applies you to about 10 scholarships or more, just automatically. So you don't have to do any extra work. It's all done for you, which, again, super simple.
I like that, Cody. You can't get much easier than that. That's
They're high tech.
Yeah.
I like anything high tech.
Or very high tech.
Yeah, very high tech. Yes.
I think they should submit videos. Like I'm just like, I want money, lots and lots of money.
That would be a lot
I
more
just sitting that in there, and you guys are just, oh, okay, this applies for all of them, all 175.
He's pushing for a voice scholarship, music scholarship.
Producer O got a little smile when I was singing that, so
I got a little headache. Is what I got.
Okay, back to Cora.
I'll have to look into that on this application, see if I can add a video.
This is being recorded. You could just submit this.
You could.
I'm already past that stage.
Well, you could go back for another. You're not a doctor yet, are you?
My scholarship is called a salary now.
Okay. So back to Cora. What are some of the unique scholarships that might be out there that folks aren't aware of? Do most of them get claimed each semester or each year, however often they come up?
So we have some pretty unique ones. It kind of varies. I'd say each semester we've kind of trended higher on awarding, but we maybe only award like 80 to 85% of our available scholarships. So that still leaves quite a few unawarded. And it's just because we don't have applicants to fill them or people that qualify.
So Cody, there might be one.
Yeah,
for
there
you.
might be. Most of the time, a lot of our really good scholarships, or all the scholarships are good, so don't get me wrong there. I like the ones we have career scholarships. So each career program that's at LC has a full tuition and fees scholarship available to students to apply for. So you can, if you're in radio broadcasting, there's one for that. There's one for welding. There's one for restoration ecology. Some of those don't get filled because we just don't, some of the smaller programs on campus, we don't have the amount of applicants coming in that we need. Let's see.
Is there like a panel? So there's like one, so you might have, I don't know, 20 for that one. And you guys have to decipher who's getting that?
Oh, like the
For like,
review
because there's
committee?
one, yeah.
So we do have, after everybody applies, there's a committee of 10 people. We're trying to grow it a little bit, that go through and they get a list of scholarships that they review people for.
Gotcha.
And then it's actually kind of neat. You get a score.
Yeah.
And then we go off of that.
Yeah. Cool.
So how are the different scholarships, and maybe there are multiple ways, but how are they funded?
So we have scholarships that are funded by Lewis and Clark. So they're approved by the Board of Trustees. So those are our institutional funds, you could call them. And then we have donor-funded scholarships. So those are what the Lewis and Clark Community College Foundation handles. So those are community members, organizations, alumni that have decided that, they'd like to give back to the school, give back to students, so they can meet with the foundation and donate their money and create a scholarship, or just donate it to, we have some general fund scholarships, like our Distinguished Scholars Award, Golden Eagle Scholars Award, that are, generals and donations given to the foundation that are used for scholarships.
And do those have to get replenished every year, or are some of them, what's the right word?
Growing?
Well, I mean, are they funded and then it's like the dividends off the top could be
Endowed.
taken? Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
Oh, why don't I not? I'm so sorry.
Because you
'Cause
and
we
I
have
are
the-
not. Oh, you
We're
have
not. But
one.
remember, there's an athletic endowment that we're building. I should know that.
Yeah, you
I'm
should
so
know
sorry. I
that.
left you hanging.
You really left me hanging
My bad.
there.
Anyways,
Yeah.
Corey, back to you.
So we have both of those options for donors. So you can choose to donate, a lump sum of money, and when it runs out, it runs out. Or there's you can make an agreement with the college and donate an amount of money to go into an endowment, and then it builds for a couple of years, and then they can start awarding the scholarship, and it replenishes itself every year, and sometimes even grows. So with a lot of those, you might start out with a $500 award, and then by the time it builds and builds and builds 10 years later, you might be up to a $1,000 award, or so you can keep giving
I
back
like
to the
that.
students more and more.
Are you guys like a recruitment system too? Like, I mean, you have 175, but maybe your goal is 250 scholarships. Like, do you have that? Like, you go out and like, hey, do we find more donors to it to make these new opportunities for students?
We're always trying to encourage people to donate to the school or give back to the community and to Lewis and Clark if that's something that they're interested in. So we always keep an eye out for potential donors or for people who might be interested in that. I wouldn't say that we're actively like recruiting really hard, but we do make sure it's known that people can donate and can fund scholarships.
Cool.
Do you find that most people that are interested in that are more likely to just give, let's say, a general donation and then allow the school to figure out how to best use it? Or are there folks out there that that like to guide their donation in a particular direction, maybe a particular career path or something that they have a particular passion about, especially maybe with alumni that went through a program or something like that? Do you find one heavier than the other as far as in representation, or is it kind of just a mix?
I think we get a lot of more guided donations and people that want to establish a scholarship. We call those named scholarships because you get to choose the name, you get to choose the qualifications, and things like that, which I think is a little more appealing to people because it makes it more personal. If I can say, I was a business major and I want to give back to the management program, then they can see kind of themselves through the students in a way, and support the people that they've been around,
This may be catching you off guard and not be fair. And if it is, that's just let us know. Do you know what the longest standing scholarship that you have on that list in front of you is?
She says no comment.
She says, I'll
get back
look
to
this
you.
up ahead of time.
I'll get back to you. Jeff, what are you doing, man?
Well, we have some that have probably been ongoing for quite a while,
yes.
I would think. Yeah.
I don't know the history on all the scholarships because I've only been here about a year.
So it wasn't fair.
It wasn't fair. But I do know that there's been some really long running scholarships, ones that have been here for like over 25, over 30 years.
Oh, that's sweet.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So what's your favorite part of this entire job?
I think I like talking to the students the best, interacting with them, answering their questions, because you can tell when they're like really worried and they're like, I don't know how I'm going to, get through this semester or get through this. And I can, reassure them that says, this is your money, like you earned the scholarship, or like what adjustments can we make to maybe help you out a little bit more. Some of my favorite emails to send are sometimes we have, donors that maybe give a little extra money to their scholarship that year, or, we've had to move things around to accommodate situations, and I can email a student and say, hey, guess what?
Yeah.
You thought you were getting a $500 scholarship and now you're getting a $1,000 scholarship, or, just adjusting to their needs if we can do that. So
you're like the AAA manager. Like they always say their favorite part of the job is to call that guy in and say, hey, pack your bags. You're heading to the show.
Mm-hmm.
You get to do that.
Yep.
All right.
As
very cool.
Debbie in the foundation says, we like to play Santa Claus.
All right.
Okay. So you've got a long list of those scholarships in front of you. You want to pick some of them out and tell people about them, and especially if there are some that are there still waiting to be awarded and maybe just need an interested person to come by and complete the application.
Yeah. So this is actually last year's list. So as you can see, it's 2 pages long. Pretty soon, we're going to have to probably add a third page because the font can only get so much smaller.
They keep shrinking the font.
As we add the lists. Oh my goodness. All of these are so awesome.
Well, you can pick out several. You don't have to limit it to just, a couple. Do you have any favorites? That's probably not fair either.
No, that's not fair. I can't favorite the donors.
So producer O is going to edit that question out, and we'll just go back again to share with us some of your
that's good. She said it. They're all. That was a great answer. They're all my favorites.
That's right.
All right, let's take a look here. So the Huff Family Scholarship one is really unique. It's for graduates of Carrollton High School. And that pays a portion of their remaining fees after they've had financial aid or any other scholarships. So it's like a nice little like booster, after you think you've gotten all your aid, it goes to all the students that qualify for that. And it just like, boop, a little extra money in there.
How did it go again? How was that?
Just boop.
There, okay.
That's what the sound I make when I hit the save button in their account.
That's when they open up their email with the good news. That's what they hear, right?
We've got tons of nursing scholarships. Those are very popular, as you might know, because Lewis and Clark Nursing Program is really awesome, and we have a lot of great students. So they're always awarded all the time, and they're really greatly funded scholarships. Let's see.
It's the second best program here on campus
Oh yeah.
on athletics. Calling out nursing. That's right.
I will shout out the valedictorian salutatorian scholarship. So if listeners didn't know this, for any high school graduate, finishing up their senior year and coming to Lewis and Clark in the fall, if they were the first or second ranked student in their class, they have almost an automatic full tuition and fee scholarship here at Lewis and Clark. So we have a limit to how many we can award, but usually we don't reach that limit. So if you come to me and say I was the Val Sal and you have your transcript to prove it, I can pretty much give you a scholarship. So.
Cody, we're out of that one.
No, not even close. Was not an option. Basically, mine was you can hit.
Yeah, that you can hit scholarship.
Yeah, you can hit.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you've got a lot of. How do you promote those so that people know about them? Other than you mentioned they're on the website, but do you find that some people come in and say, "Wow, I wish I'd known about these," and somehow didn't? Do you actively promote them so that people are aware?
Mm-hmm. So starting in October, we'll release the application, and that's really when my application recruitment cycle starts. So I'll go to all the high school career fairs, all the things like that, and I'll have these lists, or I'll have the QR code that links to the website. And really, I'm just encouraging students to apply because they can go and look at these. But really, the most important thing is that they fill out an application because they might not realize what they qualify for. Yes. You could look through the list all day long and say, well, I don't know if I'm qualified for that one. But until you apply, you don't know.
Plus, the system picks it out for you.
Sure.
Exactly.
You just need to, that's
so
important.
really,
you just apply.
You have nothing to lose.
Nothing at all.
Fill out
Just
the
apply and get it
application
done.
and then
Yeah.
see what the results
That's why I
are.
like it.
Yeah.
Occasionally, if we have some really specific scholarships that are program specific, we'll send out emails to, the heads of those departments and say, hey, can you encourage your students to apply for scholarships or things like that to pick up some stragglers? But really, we just want everybody to apply. That's our main goal. Because at the end of the day, it's important to know what we have to offer, but it's more important to take the step and the action to, put yourself in the pool.
And so one more time, how can folks do that? How can they apply? You mentioned they can go to the website, give them the website, just the Lewis and Clark website, and then there's a / and then scholarships or something like that, or what? Or is there a button that they hit?
So we are www.lc.edu/scholarships. Or you can go to the search bar at the top of the Lewis and Clark page and type in scholarships and it'll come right up. And then about halfway down the page, there'll be a big blue button that says apply now. And once you hit that, it'll take you to our software to log in and start your application.
So if you haven't done that, you need to just go do it and see what you might be in store for you.
Hey, Cora. Sorry, producer O here. Does this QR code work?
It does.
All right. I'm going to on Cody's face.
QR code.
So that'll take you to the lc.edu/scholarships where
It's worked better. There we go.
Never quite seen it done that way
When you get the
before.
link on the QR code, make sure you say, boop.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, we had mentioned earlier in the show that we had a special announcement to make, and now is the time for that. Do you want the honor, or would you like from? Oh, okay. Well, we got the drum rolls going. I'm sure that's great for everybody's earphones.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes. So Cody and I have gotten together, and we would like to announce that beginning next year, we will be awarding the A to Z podcast scholarship. It will be available to any student, second-year student or second semester student in the digital streaming and broadcast media department. We felt like that we get this opportunity to dabble with the podcast. It's a kind of a hobby for us, but we enjoy doing it. The new program was developed. Podcasting is part of that program, an opportunity for us to also give back to students here at the college. So we will be, I guess, I don't know if I've got this exactly right technically or not, but that would be awarded in the spring, I believe, of next year, and then used either in the summer session or the fall session or
the fall and spring.
Fall and spring. Okay. So the main thing is to, even if you're not interested in that scholarship, go apply and see what might be out there. But we wanted to have a chance to give back because of the fun that we're having here.
Yep.
So, Cody, I want to thank you for being part of that as well. It just seemed like a neat thing to do, the right thing to do.
It is, and this is fun, right?
Yeah,
Some new age
absolutely.
stuff and streaming
Yeah.
and all that. And really tell you the truth, if you talk about the program, it'd be cool if it doubled because everything can be a show, whatever you like. There's
It's all
people
about
of
content.
interest. It's all about content.
Somebody will listen to it and like it. And
Yeah.
producer O, as
Yeah.
a representative of the digital streaming and
stream,
broadcast media program, we certainly hope that students will be able to take advantage of this and forward their classes, their study here, and maybe even their career. Maybe it'll impact somebody. That's what we're hoping for.
Yeah, guys, you have no idea how much that helps and how much that means to students. And, sometimes students can't get their stuff in because they don't have gas money. They can't make it to class because they don't have what they need, the simple stuff that we might take for granted. So things like this, they impact lives of people you might never even meet, and that's kind of tremendous, right? It's like planting a fruit tree and then never eating off of that fruit, right? It's like that you're benefiting the world that way, and you really are. And so on behalf of myself and Mike Lemons and the digital streaming and broadcast media, all my students and future students, incredibly grateful for everything you guys are doing.
Yeah, we're hoping that we might have a small part in producing the next whatever podcast across LC that there might be, and maybe we can play a part in that for future years to come, when Cody and I are either too old or too tired or too busy doing other things to be able to continue this program. We're hoping we can plant the seed that might fill these chairs somewhere down the road, and maybe not even with this type of podcast, but somebody who can create their own content and really take it and run with it. So we're hopeful that's what will happen.
Plant the seed of a tree for the shade you'll never see.
That sounds like, is that going to be on your neck? Boop.
I'm getting trolled here.
I like it. She's getting trolled.
So, Cora, we just gave you one more thing to do. You'll have to add, you've got it. You're going to have to, that'll be the starting of page 3 for your list of scholarships. You'll have to reprint now.
Yep. I will never complain about adding to this list. The Lewis and Clark students are really fortunate to have team members and community members that really want to help them succeed. So we're very fortunate for that. And the students are always thankful, and, it makes a big difference in their lives. So
fantastic. Thanks for being with us and sharing all that information. And we hope we get the word out for people to go and fill out that application and see what might be out there for you. So thanks for being with us.
Take us out, Cora.
All right. We are
LC A to Z.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but I could have been an electrician. Or I could have been a nurse.
Maybe not.
Welcome back to our A to Z Across LC podcast. Jeff Alsman here, Cody Zipman as well. And we are joined in studio by a couple of folks from the Vintage Voices program, I guess you would call it. We'll find out exactly what the type of an event that it is.
Apparently one guy's a dead guy.
That's what I've heard. We'll find out.
All right.
Kerry Miller is co-director of Vintage Voices. He's here. And Jake Tinberg is here. He's also an actor. He's going to be portraying John Krimmer in a few moments. And I'm interested to just find out what all happens, because this is...
I'm a history guy, so I'm excited.
You've been looking forward to this. So why don't we begin by welcoming Kerry. Kerry, tell us a little bit about what Vintage Voices actually is.
Well, it's a program that began in 2001, so this will be our 23rd year. A group of local people got together and they were brainstorming about some kind of a program to put on in relationship to Alton and the regional history. And they came up with this concept of a walking tour of the Alton City Cemetery. And so they came up with this program, and we have a committee that now produces the program. We collaborate with Hainer Library. Lacey McDonald is head of the genealogy and research section at the library.
You were going to say Lacey. Shout out, Lacey.
I know Lacey.
Shout out to Lacey.
Cool.
And I wear multiple hats. Well, I'm also trustee for the Hainer Library District. And I'm telling you, Lacey is amazing. The genealogical library is an amazing source of information. They are so helpful to folks coming in doing like historical research, house research, that kind of thing. So the committee meets and they have a list of maybe 20 what we call decedents, occupants of the cemetery, who we think might have a story to tell. And then we kind of winnow it down. And I'm often asked, are you going to run out of characters to portray? I said, no, the challenge is winnowing that list down to a reasonable number. So this year, we have 8 stops on the tour, and we have a total of 14 actors that are participating. We have 3 stops where we have 3 actors that are going to perform. So that's a little something different this year. How the process works is you buy a ticket either online or at the event at the Alton City Cemetery. And the main entrance at 5th and Vine, we'll have some chairs set up for the people, and they'll buy a ticket. And then a docent will take a group of anywhere from 10 to 12 people. It's a walking tour of the cemetery, and they'll stop at each site where there's a reenactor there to tell the story of that individual who's buried there in the cemetery. We have it's a great program. It's good for kids. And if the weather is cooperating and the leaves start turning, that beautiful fall foliage is just unbelievable. So the event is the first 2 weekends in October, October 5th and 6th, Saturday and Sunday, and the 12th and 13th, Saturday and Sunday, I'm sorry. And the price is $15, and students 6 to 18 is $10. And you can buy the tickets that day of the tour, or you can go online to vintagevoices.eventbrite.com and order tickets online. We also have a non-walking tour for those of us who are getting a little less mobily having trouble getting around. So we've changed locations this year, and it's going to be on the first Sunday, October 5th at 5 o'clock at the what is now known as the St. Mary's Parish Center over on Milton Road, which is the old St. Matthew's Church for all the folks out there that have been around a while. That was the site of the original old St. Matthew's Church at 1015 Milton Road. So that's become a real popular event for our elderly participants that like to come and have been coming for 20 years, and they still want to keep coming. They just can't make that walk, and I know the feeling. My knees are getting kind of bad too.
So the event at the cemetery, the actual walking tour, those begin at what time again?
Well, the event runs from noon till 2:30, and about every 15 minutes, you'll have a group coming, starting out. So, but again, that flows through, and so we've got plenty of time to get them through there. We have, I don't want to give too much away, but some of the characters that we're going to be featuring are a lady by the name of Mary Alice McCarthy. She was a teacher and a principal at various schools in Alton, and she's going to have 2 young girls with her that will portray 2 of her students. And she was very active in the community. Was a quiet benefactor for lots of charities in Alton. And when she died in 1950, which is not all that long ago, she had an estate of $100,000, which in 1950, that's probably $1 million today.
I was going to say $100 million today.
Yeah, she bequeathed that to various charities in Alton, various religious and charitable and welfare and youth organizations. We have a character, Anna Wilkerson Gillis Johnson, an African-American woman who was born in 1873 and died in 1953. And she came to Alton to be a truant officer for the black schools. That's when the schools were segregated. And Johnson was president of the Colored Women's Civic League, and so was a leader in the African-American community here in Alton. And, of course, was secretary of the NAACP and was a longtime member of Union Baptist Church, which that church over on George Street in Middletown just keeps coming back in African-American history. That church has been here since the 1830s and has had members throughout the years that have been community leaders. We also kind of like to do anniversary things, and one of the anniversaries we're celebrating this year is the 100th anniversary of Camp Warren Levis out in Godfrey, the Boy Scout camp. And I'm an old retired Boy Scout myself and spent many good, wonderful, enjoyable summers out there at that camp. So Kevin Botterbush, who is on the, he teaches out here at Lewis and Clark, teaches real estate. He's president of the library board along with me, and he's also on the board of the Boy Scout Council. So he's very familiar with the scouting program, and he'll be portraying a gentleman by the name of Andrew T. Hawley Jr. Where the camp is now located was the Hawley family farm. It was over 250 acres originally. And they started camping out there as Camp Hawley, and then he'll tell the story of how that all transpired and became Camp Warren Levis.
So if I could just interject.
Sure, go jump right in.
When you find the individuals that you're going to portray, and you have 10 or 12 or 14 or however many, where do you find all the actors? Are they all local folks?
Well, yes, for the most part. We have a tried and true troupe. I've got the record for being appearing in I think 17 out of 22. I said, well, they're tired of listening to me. We need some fresh
and a
blood.
different character each time.
Yeah,
I guess.
so we do have open auditions, and this last year we had several people come in from just off the street. None of us knew any of them. This happens with Alt Little Theater a lot as well, where somebody just walks in, you never heard of them before, and they plop down and they read, and it's like, oh my Lord, this person is perfect. And this one actress, we cast her, and she just recently portrayed a one-woman show of Molly Ivins, and just, this gal's unbelievable. And it's like, we didn't know who she was. Well, we'll give her a shot, and she's going to be fantastic.
So can we summon John from the great beyond? And
well, we have with us today a gentleman by the name of John Kremer. One of the other anniversaries we're celebrating is it's kind of strange, but then again, let me put on another different hat. I'm also president of the Alton Cemetery Board of Trustees. And the old Grandview Mausoleum was built in 1914, so we're celebrating the 110th anniversary of the mausoleum. We've been doing an ongoing renovation project. It was getting in pretty bad shape, and the outside is all done. We've got new roof, new skylights, new tuck pointing, new gutters. And so now we're starting on the inside, and we just had the contractor who did a lead remediation project, which resulted in the mausoleum the cleanest it's ever been in my memory. So we thought, well, now be something to focus on the mausoleum and let people know what's going on with that. So Lacey came up with, well, the first guy buried in the Alton Mausoleum was a guy named John Kremer. All we had was a name. And then we started researching it, and a really colorful guy who just happens to be with us today.
Good morning.
So this is Jake Kettenbergy, who is portraying John Kremer.
Right.
How are you doing with all this new technology?
I'm getting used to it. It kind of squeals in my ears. Not bad. Yeah, no, he was the first one that was actually interned in the mausoleum. And the way I present it to the audience is that makes him the ideal candidate to talk about the history of the mausoleum and how it was built and all of the features that went into this thing. And even back then, the state-of-the-art stuff that they did to it. But like Carrie says, he has some really interesting anecdotes about his life. So I spend half my time talking about the mausoleum and then the other half talking about him and some of his unique quirks.
So I was wondering, and we don't want you to give away, your entire show. That
I do. I want you to do your whole act right now.
But I'm just curious, how much research do you as the actor have to do to find out about this person? Usually it's probably not somebody you're obviously familiar with right from the beginning.
Correct. No, Lacey actually presents us a package when we get picked for the roles, and she's gotten it's like a plethora of newspaper articles about the mausoleum, about the character, and then we write our own scripts. So we sit there and we go through everything and read it, try to figure out what it is. Then if we have questions, we fire off an email to Lacey and say, hey, what about this? What about that? Can you find out this? Can you find out that? And she starts doing the research until she comes up with the answer, and that allows us to fill in the rest of the holes of our scripts.
Very cool.
And then do you write your entire narration based on all that information and then memorize it and deliver it? And so once you get all of it, then it kind of becomes your project.
It is my project, right. The good part about writing my own is I know the history of John well enough to where if I make a mistake and I slip, I can always go back and put in the parts that I missed. I don't ever really have to tell it perfectly the same. The only time you worry about it is when you have multiple people at one time, then you need to deliver it the same. Yeah. But it's nice to be able to make a mistake and not really get caught at it, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. So, okay, so he gets the packet and he writes his own script. Do they then present it back to you, or do
Right.
you just find out at
Diana
gravesite?
Diana Enlow and I have split the directing duties up, and so yeah, we have rehearsals with the actors. We meet with them and go over the script and fine tune it, and tweak it, and then we're gonna have a walkthrough Wednesday at the cemetery, and we'll probably end up doing a little tweaking after that too.
Cool.
But I remember one year I was portraying a gentleman by the name of Armstrong, who was a well-known musician and composer, and he actually wrote music for John Philip Sousa. We had some information where they had letters going back and forth. So when I prepared, Diana Enlow was directing, and I wrote my preliminary script, and I was presenting it to her. And at my last closing line, I said, "Well, thank you for coming, and I'll go back to decomposing."
Oh, that's good.
Diana, you can't say that. Okay.
So
That's good.
Everybody comes and everybody's in the time period costume, obviously. Do you have folks that use different dialects and things like that go along with the character as well? If they grew up in a different area?
Sometimes we do. I had to fill in one year. The character was actually a woman, and then the actress had a last minute conflict, so I filled in as her husband, who was a German immigrant. So I kind of used a little bit of a German accent in my portrayal. And we have, sometimes we have, musically talented folks that'll sing a song, or we had one year,
That'd be me.
There you go, Cody. There might be a place for you yet.
Well, on the mausoleum steps, we had 8 or 10?
8 of them singing.
8 or 10 women.
That's cool.
There was an old choral group from the late 1800s that was very well known, and all the society ladies all belonged to it. And so they're in their period costumes, and Susan Parton Standard was out here at Lewis and Clark. She directed them, and her character was the woman who started the group. So it was kind of neat having the steps going to the mausoleum. It was a great backdrop for the actors to present to the participants.
So John or Jake, either one can answer. Is this your first opportunity to be part of Vintage Voices, or have you done this before?
This is my third reenactment.
Third reenactment.
That's right.
Do you guys, either of you, find that any of the family members who maybe are still local or perhaps close enough by to be able to get here to see the reenactments, do you get any response or feedback from them, or any kind of that really brought back memories that I heard about from ages ago, any of that kind of thing?
Well, early on, we decided preferably not to do somebody of fairly recent vintage who people would remember them. And we did do Gordon Moore one year, who was a longtime chairman of the Alton Park Recreation Commission and led the effort to build the park out on the 140 Club, or Route 140. And but what we were always afraid of is that somebody would say, "Well, that was my great aunt, and she never said that," or she she didn't look
right in the middle of your act.
Yeah, and so we never but yeah, we've had 2 years ago I was presenting on the doors of the mausoleum, and a gal came up and said, my great uncle is buried in there, and I remember him talking about the character we had presented. But occasionally, but not too often.
I did a presentation on the Western Military Academy, and there's a lot of famous people that actually went to that school, like the O'Hare. You've heard of the airport, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the Medal of Honor winners that actually went there, and one of the patrons came up afterwards and talked about his grandfather that had gone to the Western Military Academy and remembered it, and they remembered the parades and stuff that they saw of the cadets marching. So
Cool.
it's kind of interesting when they remember it that way.
Yeah.
So as one of the actors, speak on their behalf, and why is it that you find enjoyment in doing this? Is it just because you like to act? Does this help pad a resume? Is it important historically? What's your passion for doing this?
I do love to act, but I'm a historical buff. I absolutely love history. I'm the president of the board of Alton Little Theater, so I might have a little bit of an acting bug. But I like bringing history back. These people are deceased. and you know that very few people get to go visit their graves. So this way we get people to come in and hear the history of Alton and the history of these people that made an impact to Alton. And I just find a lot of joy in doing that.
Well, the theme of Vintage Voices is keeping history alive. And what we always enjoy when, by the time the event comes along, my work is done as a director, so I'm just there helping out, directing people around and helping direct traffic and setting up and what have you. But we're sitting there, and what we always enjoy is when patrons are leaving and you overhear them saying, I've lived here all my life, and I never knew that, fill in the blank, that there was something they learned, hopefully more than one thing they learned during their trip to the cemetery that they never knew before.
Very cool.
Has there ever been any thought to expanding the program beyond folks who might be buried in the cemetery but would still be historical figures either in Alton or around?
Occasionally we do have sometimes a guest or a guest historian. One of the characters I've portrayed for 40 years now is U.S. Senator Lyman Trumbull, who lived on Henry Street and was the author of the 13th Amendment, very close to Lincoln, lots of Alton connections. But he's actually, he after his wife died, he moved to Chicago, got remarried and died in Chicago and was buried in Chicago. But we featured, I forget what anniversary it was, maybe it was the anniversary of the 13th Amendment or something. And so I was portrayed Trumbull at the cemetery, even though he wasn't physically buried there. We made that connection. So we did Robert Wadlow one year. I was a little hesitant, but the guy they found had these stilts that he did. I mean,
He did awesome.
he did an awesome job. I thought,
That's good.
and my dad graduated with Robert Wadlow. They were DeMolays together, and I'm like, this is never going to work. And it just came off beautifully.
That's good.
I was
Very
very
cool.
impressed.
So the dates again, 2 weekends coming up.
Yes, it's
in
the first 2 weekends in October, October 5th and 6th, Saturday and Sunday, and 12th and the 13th, the following weekend. The times are noon to 2:30, and then the non-walking tour is that first Sunday, October 6th at 5 p.m. at the St. Mary's Parish Center, the old St. Matthew's at 1015 Milton Road.
Well, Carrie, thanks for being with us, and John, thanks for coming back to visit us.
My pleasure. Come and
Appreciate
visit
you.
me.
Come and visit. When the program dies, we'll know where to find you.
I'll have a space for you.
Yeah.
They're all taken, actually. All 530 of them are filled.
No, they're not. I've been doing some research on the mausoleum. We do have a couple vacancies.
Still have a vacancy. All right. So I have to change that because
There's a place
Lacey
for
told
each
me they
of
were
us.
filled.
He said a couple. There's a place for each
I'm
of us.
surprised because they always say people are dying to get in there.
That's
right.
true.
My first job out of high school was working at Valhalla Cemetery cutting grass. And I said, I had a very important job. I had over 1,000 people under me.
Oh, my. Well, we have gone about as far as we can go with this. Thanks, guys. Great luck with the program. I know they've always been great in the past. I'm sure this one will too.
Come see us. We'd love to have you.
Will you guys take us out?
Absolutely. We are, or we were.
Oh, I forgot my line.
LC A to Z.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark. I got my start in the radio program that put me on the path to where I am today. We still do radio, but now we're so much more. Podcasting, producing, and editing, not to mention new equipment, studios, courses, and a new name. If you want to work in professional media or create better content for the things you love, do like I did and discover your path at Lewis and Clark Community College. Enroll today at lc.edu.
Welcome back to the A to Z Across LC podcast. Jeff Alsman here, Cody Zipman as well. We're joined now in studio by John Dunn, who is the Lewis and Clark men's soccer coach. We should say the nationally ranked men's soccer coach. Off to a good start this season. John, welcome to the podcast. I know you were here during our first season to talk about the soccer team as well. That was towards the end of the year. Now's the beginning of the year, and you're starting all over again, a brand new group of folks, but it sounds like the season is off to a really good start.
Yeah, it's been a good start overall. Had some bumps along the road, some challenges so far. Just came straight from the field just now. Got a great 1-0 win today against a tough opponent, East Central out of Missouri. So that was a really good one. But yeah, 5-2 to start the year. As you said, we've been in the rankings and we're looking to push on this year. And I really believe in this group. I think we've got a stronger group since I've been the coach here. And that's a bold statement. I don't say that lightly. I really believe in this group. We just got to keep putting a few things together, and I think we're going to have a good year.
Started out in number 19 in the preseason poll, worked your way up to 14, and then you had the one loss that was against a very highly ranked and very quality team. Those rankings early on kind of hop around a little bit, don't they, until teams start to kind of settle in a bit.
Yeah, I'd say over the next couple of weeks is where you start to see a bit of continuity. There's a lot of movement early, as you say. We played a quality Cowley side. Much respect to that team. They were excellent. They played us the first 45 minutes. It's as good a team as I have seen at this level. They're every bit a Division I, NCAA Division I team. Quality players. They're going to do very, very well this year. Our job, again, take lessons from that and see if we can build from that, which we have. We rebounded. We had a scrimmage at the weekend. We won. Tough game today that we won. So, we've started that process. We turned that corner and take a lot of lessons from how they played and how good a team we played. So we can still learn from that.
Dunner, talk about that schedule a little bit, because we just don't, you don't just roll it out that, hey, we're just going to walk over teams. You strategically plan these trips against that tougher matchup in preparation for a national title run.
Yeah, I mean, I would be surprised if they weren't in the Final Four national tournament. I mean, that's how quality a team this was. So for our guys to get that exposure, we had a couple of big wins early. And I think at junior college, the turnaround is really quick, right? 2-year schools. So the team that we seen last year to this year for like Southeastern, for example, is just totally different. So for us to be able to test ourselves against a team that's consistently at the top end of the national rankings, get that experience, and that's only going to help us go to the back end of the season, going into the main part of our conference, our region schedule, it's going to stand us in great stead. We got to play these teams, and we've got Indian Hills coming up, who are number 3 in the country, so they're ranked even higher than Cowley. So now it gives our guys a chance to take a deep breath, reset, and test ourselves against the best quality again.
I would lose my mind if I was a soccer coach. So many of these games are low scoring, tight all the way through, a 1-goal game either way. I mean, you've got to be on pins and needles the whole time on the sideline just to get whatever that little advantage is, to get maybe the only goal of the match, and then hold on to that for dear life to make that be enough to win.
I mean, a mentor of mine once said the only thing he'd change about college soccer, he'd love a timeout. It's the sport where you don't get an opportunity you get before halftime, after the game. You don't get any opportunities to really impact it in that way. And that is the most difficult thing, right? You just got to trust these guys when you send them out there. You got to trust their maturity, their attention to detail, the way they're following the game plan. And that's, it can be the hardest thing. And if you hear me on the sideline, sometimes you can hear my frustration at times on the sideline, but it's good. It's part of the game. It's what makes it so brilliant. It's what makes it, in my opinion, the best sport you can play and be involved in. But yeah, it's good fun.
So much of the game is ball possession, right? I mean, the other team can't score if you've got the ball, and you can kind of drag the game on if you need to, stretch the game out, and the skill that it takes to be able to do that, even if you're not being defended against, is crazy enough to watch. But then when you're trying to do that and somebody's like kicking around at your feet right next to you, sometimes it's just amazing what some of these guys can do with the ball.
Oh yeah, I mean, things I could only dream of doing. I think we've got some really technical players. It's kind of, you say, the 4 pillars of a soccer player, right? We go with physical, technical, tactical, and mental being kind of the 4 basic pillars that you described. But those kind of tactical and technical, i.e. game understanding and ability to when to take a touch, when to just move the ball quickly, when to dribble out pressure. This stuff is years and years in the making, right? When I get them at this stage, it's about refining the team strategy, refining little details to best suit our players, to fit the best people in the right spots, you know, because these guys we've got a lot of talent. And I think junior college, I've said it consistently. I probably said it last time, so sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I think it's so underrated. You know, we talk about stigma. There's like maybe a stigma, and the quality that's out there is very, very good. And these guys, yeah, they're intelligent players, and there's some good quality.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Some of the players that are on our squad that have gotten off to great starts?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, there's several. I think, you know, we've got young freshman Raul Polo, who's been fantastic. His energy has been contagious. He's continually a threat. Today, of our 30 shots, he had 8 and didn't score. So he can also be frustrating at times. But the thing that I love about him is he keeps going and keeps going. And I think, I've not even input the stats yet, but I do think he assisted the winning goal. My guys will let me know about that if I'm wrong very quickly. but you know, he kept going. And Julien Laborde has been a French player that we brought in, who's been top notch as well. And I think he's already scored 4 or 5 goals our first few games as well. So he's been fantastic. Locally, got Nathan Beck from Glencarbon, done a fantastic job. He's been a goalkeeper for us. So he's come in and done excellent. So no, I could go through, you know, as a coach, you could go through on and on and on, but there's pieces there for sure. And I think it's just, can we just knit that together, continue to grow as we get into the most important months, which is, you know, back half of September into October. And that's, you got to peak at the right time. Doesn't matter what our ranking is at that point, we just peak at the right time.
Is that why you like this roster? You said earlier, just what is the most talented roster you've had at LC, just because of those pieces?
Yeah, I just think we have more quality as to score goals from anywhere in this team, and that's the thing that I think is different than we've had before. Last year we relied on Raul Cedillo, number 9, a lot. Today he did score the winning goal, which was great, but that's only his second goal of the year, and he'll be the first to tell you he wishes he had more and he could have had more so far, but his teammates have been pitching in with goals from all over the park, and I think that's been a real difference in this team. Not today, but but just generally speaking.
Yeah, multiple scoring opportunities, I'd say.
Yep.
Cool.
Soccer is the type of sport that I think oftentimes gets it's growing faster than ever, there's no doubt. But for a long time, it seemed like it was always a secondary sport. And it's, you know, you stop and think about it, all you need is a soccer ball. And, you know, you don't need all the equipment. You don't need a huge amount of space to learn to dribble and build your skills.
Yep.
It's reached a point where people have understood now that anybody can play it, boys, girls, men, women. And it's really obviously picked up. And of course, you know, St. Louis City coming here locally, although St. Louis has been a hotbed of soccer even before that. But it seems like it's as simplistic as the game can be. It's often a misunderstood game by those who aren't part of the hardcore soccer fandom. I watch it on TV. I confess, I never played. I am learning more and more about it. But it drives me crazy when they work the ball all the way down offensively and then just stop and back it all the way back into their zone again, turn around and head back down again. And there's obviously strategy and reason for it, but it's difficult if you're not somebody who has constantly been around the game to understand the strategy, behind the game and to look for that one opportunity to find somebody breaking on the ball and to become a real threat. And I'm talking a lot and talking from somebody who can't explain it. You can probably explain all of that a lot better than I could.
Yep. No, I mean, even just that example you gave, and it's just the thing about soccer. So it's so tactical. You know, a reason a team will do that is it's counter prevention, right? Every time you move the ball and swing the ball left to right, it's backing the team up. It's backing the team up, and which makes it more difficult for them to counter attack going the other way. I mean, that's just one thing that maybe someone doesn't think about if they don't know the game, and that's a reason. That's something I tell my team. You know, the more we advance the ball like that, their forwards are dropping deeper and deeper. So it gives us good opportunity. But the more you work a team, the more spaces that open, the more time you can find that penetrating pass, that opportunity to go to goal, and a good opportunity to go to goal. But no, what you said about youth soccer and soccer in general growing couldn't be more true. I would just started my 3-year-old playing soccer, the Edwardville Meyer, YMCA, and every single soccer field packed. 8 a.m. on Saturday morning. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not more, people and parents out there. Thousands probably when you count the parent, and it's just awesome to see. More and more kids are playing the game, and it's just exciting. So for me, as a guy that just loves the sport, it's really exciting to see.
What age do you usually get to when you could begin to see that this might be a player that has some real potential that sets them apart from just the group of rugby guys going all around, chasing the ball around the field? When does that kind of happen in your mind as a coach who can kind of look for those moments?
Obviously, as a parent, just looking at youth soccer generally, that it's so varied because there's late bloomers just like every sport. I mean, I would say when you get someone 8, 9, 10, you can start to tell, really early, very talented players. But really, these guys aren't separating until they're 12, 13, 14, and then you start seeing a bit more of that. But it's that's a great question because I don't think there's a truly defined answer on that. I got guys that come in and are developing 18, 19 to 20, and their games and getting incredibly better. So that is I don't think there's one certain answer to that.
I'm just curious how you keep everybody motivated, because you've got a team that is good. They've already been in the rankings. They've already played some very tough competition and been competitive. Pardon me. In a lot of the matches, they've been dominant. How do you keep them wanting more and more and more? What are your coaching strategies that cause that or help that?
I think, preseason day one, we talk about what our end goal is, right? What's the goal for the team? And we want to be on a national level. We want to be competing on a national level, and we have to have that drive every day to get there. How do we best serve our students? How do we best give our student athletes the chance to progress to a quality 4-year school? Is by getting to the national level. When I was coaching at SIUE, I recruited at the Junior College National Championships, and me plus over 100 other coaches. And that's what I tell my guys. I want you to be there. I want you to experience that. I want you to have that pressure and just be able to perform in front of some of the best coaches in the country. And if that's not motivation enough for your future, then you're in the wrong program at that point, because you have to have that element of I have the self-drive, the self-determination, the motivation to keep bettering myself every single day. And that's what we want from all our athletes across all sports here at Lewis and Clark. We don't want people that are here part-time to just take part, just to get a couple of shirts and say that they're here. We want people that are determined to improve the overall culture, the whole department. And I think men's soccer, we try to be at the forefront of that.
Well, you've certainly gotten off to a good start. Had a great season last year, too, when you look back at it, actually, and continuing down that same path. Cody, anything that you want to add? I mean, this is one of your guys.
It's because what he just said, we've won nothing until we won something. So
that's another T-shirt thing. You keep coming up with these slogans.
But hey, that's the crew that's over there is, right? You're first or you're last. We're driving for that. There's no second. There's no consolation trophy. That's where we want to compete. So that drive that's in him, the interview today with Dunner is, I don't have to say anything. That's the personality that came first day when he was in the interview. And that's our expectations. And it doesn't matter. It's not that expectation just on the pitch. It's that expectation off the pitch as well.
Look ahead to your next 2 or 3 games. Tell us what we can expect. All victories, I'm guessing, right?
Hopefully we got, it's a big week. It's a 3-game week. So we just had game 1 today on Monday as we record. Wednesday we play Jeffco at home again. So come out, well, guess this airs after that. But so Saturday we
You
got.
got to get used to that. I was too. I wanted to announce all the games this week.
And
Big game Saturday.
yes, Saturday, tomorrow, big game tomorrow. No,
Be there tomorrow.
but yeah, Jeffco on Wednesday at home, doubleheader with the women. So we're going to do that at Glazebrook on the turf. So we're excited for that. Be a tough test. And Saturday, get back on the region trail at Lincoln Trail, and that's going to be that's a big one. You know, we slipped up in that first region game. We had a red card, we had a penalty against us. You know, we got what we deserved at the end of the day, but we lost that game. So we have 5 region games. You know, the ICC tied the game already. So effectively, I told the guys again, when you talk about motivating, it's still in our hands. You know, we got 5 games. If we take care of 5 games, no one can stop us from winning the region. So we're really, really focused on that mini season now of those 5 remaining games as well. So really, Wednesday's just a mechanism to go to Saturday. Saturday is the big one, and we're excited. It's always a tough test. Always a tough test when we go up there. I don't think I've won up there two trips. So
Well,
I think
it's
I'm
about time for that to change.
So
Time for a win.
we got to go up there and really determined to win, not afraid to lose is what I tell my guys. We got to be determined to win. So we're going to go up there and we're going to give it everything. So that'll be a big one.
Well, Coach, we'll send you off with well wishes and come back with a big victory for us. And we wish you the best for the rest of the season. Onward all the way to Nationals. Is that another
On
slogan?
the way to Nationals.
There you go.
Nationals or bust. Bring us out. Oh, I didn't explain. You know how to bring us out, right?
Are we good? We're ready?
Yeah.
We're good.
We are.
LC A to Z.